Hello students, a very good morning to you. We are continuing a revision of chapter 5, that is Principles of Inheritance and Values. In this chapter, we have yesterday studied that how genetic characters are transformed from one generation to another generation, means how these characters are transferred from parents to their offspring. And there also we have studied that how Mendel gave his contribution in the field of inheritance and how he was given his theories. So students, we are already studied about monohybrid cross. Today let's continue this topic also, that is monohybrid cross, by taking another example. Mono means single and hybrid means when two different species having single characters crossed with each other is called as monohybrid cross. Means in this experiment or through this cross we can able to know that one gene inheritance, how a single gene inherited from both the parents, in which we saw that when the cross is done between tall and dwarf in the first generation or the filial generation 1, only tall character is expressed, due to which Mendel explained that as tall means cross was done between tall and dwarf, but only tall is expressed, that's why tall is the dominant character, and he gave that theory, law of dominance. And law of dominance is defined as the trait or the character which express itself in the F1 generation. And when again self cross is done between the progeny of F1 generation, then we got both tall and dwarf. We will not get any intermixing character of the P plant, means we will not get any medium sized plant. That's why he gave that theory that is called as law of segregation. And we also see that what is the phenotypic and genotypic ratio. Again I want to tell you, phenotypic means which the characters which can be seen morphologically, and genotypic means the characters which contain in the gene. So we see the phenotypic ratio is 3:1, whereas the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So let's another example to see this phenotypic and genotypic ratio. Here we will cross about axial flower position, taking cross between position of the flower. So one is axial and another is terminal. For axial it is taken as capital A, and for terminal it is taken as small a. This is the parent. This parent contains capital A, whereas this parent contains small a. And its character is terminal. So here, as we know, the parent is diploid. So here, haploid gamete is found, means only one A will come from this parent. Suppose this is male and this parent is female. This is the sign. This is sign of male. This is sign of female. And here small a comes. And this is the F1 generation. Or you can say as F1 progeny. This is in biology called as filial generation. Clear? So this character only express about a single parent. Then where is the other parental character goes? So to know this, again selfing or self-cross between the F1 progeny. Self-cross between the F1 progeny. Then what we will get? Here capital A small a into capital A small a. Right? So capital A crossed with capital A and it gives AA. Capital A crossed with small a, it gives capital A small a. Small a crossed with capital A, it gives capital A small a. Here I write capital letter for your easy understanding. Then small a, small a. Out of these four pair of characters, we can see this is axial, this character is axial. This also axial, and this character is terminal. Like tall and dwarf, this also express 3 character axial and 1 character terminal. Whereas one is homozygous axial, means both the alleles are same. You know about alleles, what are alleles? And here 2 heterozygous alleles, so axial, and 1 homozygous. From this we can also conclude that any recessive trait will express itself trait will express itself when it is homozygous. Clear, students? So here when small a comes with capital A, it will not express itself. But when here both the alleles are same, then they express as terminal. So we can conclude that when or any recessive character will be dominant or express itself when it is homozygous, means if both the alleles from two different parents is same, then that will express itself. So here, from here, it expresses about law of dominance, and from here it is expressed about law of segregation. I have already told you about law of dominance. What is law of dominance? So what is law of segregation? So you can write during zygote formation, both the parental characters express themselves separately without showing any blending, and as well as they will not form any intermediate character. They also do not form any intermediate character. So students, from this we can completely we clear our concept that what is law of dominance and what is law of segregation. So here I have gave you two examples, one about tall and dwarf and another is about axial and terminal. If any other characters will given instead of this, suppose violet and white, round, wrinkled, then you can also do the same cross. The procedure will be same, only the alleles will be changed. Clear? So next we will see what is law of, next is test cross. Next we will study is test cross. So what is a test cross, what is its importance, and why test cross is drawn in plants, what is back cross, which is not in your syllabus, still we will see this. So now let's study about test cross. First, what is its importance, why we need to do test cross? Test cross is to know the genotype. As we know, to find out the genotype, it is a daunting task. So this test cross will help us to know how many genotypes are present in number of characters. So test cross, if the person will ask what is the importance of test cross, then you can write test cross is done to know the genotype of the progeny. So let's see by taking example how it is defined. When the unknown genotype of F1 generation, it is defined as when the unknown genotype of F1 generation is crossed with the recessive trait of F2 generation, the ratio will be, then the ratio will be 1:1. Means the genotypic ratio will be 1:1. So let's see it through a cross. Suppose, let's take example of tall and dwarf or axial and terminal. Let's take example of axial and terminal. So as you know, axial, this is terminal. The F1 generation contains capital A, small a. So here what I write, the unknown genotype of F1 generation. This is F1 generation. And we don't know what is its genotype. We know only that it expresses itself as axial. So this is taken for the cross, capital A, small a into with the recessive trait of F2 generation. And we know what is the recessive trait. The recessive trait is small a, small a. When we self cross the F1 generation, then we get the recessive trait that is small a, that is crossed with AA. Then what we get? Capital A, small a, capital A, small a. Here small a, and again small a, small a. So the ratio will be 2:2. 2:2. Or if we reduce this, then the ratio will be 1:1. Means 2 heterozygous genotype and 2 homozygous genotype. So here the overall genotypic ratio is 1:1. 2:2 or 2/2 is equal to 1/1, or we can say as 1:1. So from this experiment we know that test cross is helpful to know the genotype, and again if we arrange this in the Punnett square like this, then capital A, small a, clear? Capital A, small a, and small a, small a. Clear students? As we are crossing capital A, small a with small a, then what will be the result? Capital A, small a, then capital A, small a, small a, small a, and small a, small a. So here 2 are heterozygous axial and 2 are homozygous terminal. So overall the genotype is 1:1. Clear students? Again let's see what is back cross. This is about test cross, and some questions also come related to test cross. We will solve. Let's see what is back cross. Like test cross, back cross is exactly that. This is not in your syllabus. Here, if the parental generation is crossed by their offsprings, back cross. If the parental generation is crossed by their offsprings. Its importance is it's normally done in crop breeding programs or plant breeding programs for forming hybrid variety and desirable variety. So back cross, if the parental generation is crossed by their offspring. This is exactly like test cross, but the definition is, in that case we cross the F1 generation with the recessive trait. Means the cross is done between only the progenies, but here the parents are crossed with their progenies or offspring. So here you can see suppose one parent is capital A means axial is crossed with, suppose this will cross with one of the character of their or one of its offspring. So you can take the offspring as small a, or you can take as capital A into capital A, small a, or you can take as capital A and capital A. So this process should be done by you and send to me what is the result. So this is back cross when the parental generation is crossed with their offsprings, and you can take the characters like this. You can choose any character on your choice. You can take tall dwarf, you can take violet and white, you can take round wrinkled, whatever your choice is yours. Next let's see what is law of incomplete dominance. Before I teach you about incomplete dominance, remember students, Mendel gave only 3 theories or 3 laws on inheritance. That is law of dominance, law of segregation and law of independent assertment. Rest of the laws or theories which we are studying now or we are going to study now are deviated from Mendel's laws of inheritance. So let's see deviations of Mendel's laws of inheritance. Means they will not support the theories of inheritance. Clear students? So first we will see law of incomplete dominance. Law of incomplete dominance. What do you understand by this term incomplete? When the characters are not complete. So how we will define? We will define it later. Let's first do it through a cross. So here the plant taken is snapdragon, or which is biologically called as antherinum. Antherinum is the plant which is taken to know whether it follows Mendel's laws of inheritance or not. And the flower color choose is red and white. Red is taken as dominant and white is taken as recessive. Red is taken as dominant whereas white is taken as recessive. For red, the traits are capital R as we know that always capital letter is taken for dominant character. So here I take capital R and here for white we take small r. You know why we are taking the same letters? Because of some mathematical or algebraic expressions which is used in past. So here we can see when the cross is done between capital R into into small r, then the F1 progeny means this is red, this is white, and when the cross is done between red and white, we will get the F1 generation, and this is shockingly gives pink color. Pink. Here the cross is done between red and white, but the F1 progeny expressed as pink. Then where this pink character come and why this pink character come? But if we follow Mendel's rule, law of dominance, according to Mendel's rule, the character should be expressed here is red, but the character not follows Mendel's law of dominance, and here some extra character is come, that is pink. Then where is the red and white characters go? To know this, again let's do self cross between the F1 progeny means capital R small r into capital R small r. Here capital R is crossed with capital R, it gives RR. Capital R small r, it gives capital R small r. Then small r crossed with capital R, it gives capital R small r. Then small r small r. This will express red. Why? Because red is dominant. This is homozygous. In case of homozygous, the red is expressed. So this gives red. This will give, here you can see capital R small r represent pink. So this will give pink. This will also give pink. And this will give white. This is the second generation. In first generation we will get pink, and in second generation we will get 3 different characters, red, pink and white. Clear students? So if we follow Mendel's rule and compare it with Mendel's rule, in Mendel's rule only 2 characters will express, either the dominant character or the recessive character. But here the dominant is expressed, the recessive is expressed and some extra character is expressed. So after this cross, this law is given as law of incomplete dominance, and we can define as if the parental character is not expressed in the F1 generation, or we can say if either of the parental characters is not expressed in the F1 generation is called as law of incomplete dominance. If either of the parental character is not expressed in the F1 generation. So here you can see, here neither red expressed nor white expressed. Here the character expressed that is not resemble with the parent. So it is called as incomplete dominance. And if we see the second generation, the characters of second generation, then here we get one red, two pink and one white. If we consider the phenotypic and genotypic ratio with that of Mendel's law, then we will get in Mendel's law phenotypic ratio in Mendel's law the phenotypic ratio is 3:1, but here the phenotypic ratio is, so you can write in incomplete dominance the phenotypic ratio is 1:2:1, and the genotypic ratio is also the same 1:2:1. Means here the phenotypic is equal to genotypic, but here the phenotypic ratio is 3:1, whereas genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So from this cross we can see that it will not follow any theories of Mendel. Means its phenotypic and genotypic ratios are same, but in case of Mendel's laws of inheritance or Mendel's law of dominance, the phenotypic and genotypic ratio is different. So from this we can conclude that law of incomplete dominance is defined as when both the parental characters are not expressed in the F1 generation and its phenotypic and genotypic ratio is same, only the homozygous characters will express themselves, like capital R expressed as red, capital R small r not expressed as red, they are expressed as pink, which is not present in parental character, so it shows incomplete dominance. Let's arrange them in the Punnett square. So we can arrange them like this: capital R, small r, capital R, small r. So the characters are R, RR, RR and RR. Students, remember always you should take the male and female signs like this. This is male and this is taken as female. This is represent male and this is represent female. So they are the signs which you use while doing the cross in the Punnett square. So this is all about your incomplete dominance. Next we will see law of codominance, but before this we should know too that how, let's see, incomplete dominance. You can also take another examples in your choice, but the character should not be chosen from the pea plant. You should choose the character from any other. So let's see here the rule for dominance. This is most important. The rule for dominance. What is the rule for dominance? How do you know capital letter is dominant? What is the reason behind it? I think you don't know. So let's know what are the rules behind whether the character is dominant and recessive. So as we know that there are two alleles are present in the gene, means chromosome present in pair, DNA present in pair, gene present in pair and alleles also present in pair. They all are present in pair. So if they present in pair, the homozygous will express. But if it is heterozygous, then why one is dominant and another is recessive? Students, you should remember that what is the reason behind between a heterozygous character. One allele is dominant and another allele is recessive. You should understand this very carefully. Suppose between capital T and small t. Let's take example. Which one is dominant? This one is dominant. So my question is why? Why this one is dominant? What are its characters? This one is recessive. Then why? What's the reason behind it? Remember, in a gene, the two alleles, between the two alleles, one is modified allele, between two alleles, one is modified and another is unmodified. Between two alleles, one is modified and another is unmodified. Modified allele always changes, but unmodified allele remains constant. It will not change its character at any situation. It will remain constant. It is strong. So between these two alleles, this allele is called as unmodified. Unmodified. And this allele is called as modified. So why this allele get modified? There are three reasons that this allele is get modified. First reason is it may be produce less efficient enzyme. It means suppose you, if now I am teaching you, then you will say, ma'am, you are a good teacher, you are teaching us so well. When another teacher will come, then you will say, ma'am, you are better than Bhajanti ma'am. Like this means your character is always changing. So at that case you are get modified, means you changed your character according to the situation, due to which you get recessive. You can't express yourself. But here, unmodified allele, which will not change itself or its character at any situation. If this allele says you are good, then you are good. Whether the person will be anyone, the words said by the allele remains itself constant. It will not change. So it will, I have told you, it is recessive and this is recessive due to modified allele. And why this is modified? What is the reason behind it? This is modified because it may produce less efficient enzyme or no enzyme. First reason. If it will produce less efficient enzyme, then it can't survive. So it gets modified to survive itself. Second reason. It may produce non-functional enzyme. It may produce non-functional, means enzyme is produced, but this is not working properly. Second reason is non-functional enzyme. Clear, students? And third reason is normal. Here I have write no enzyme. So here you can write it may produce normal enzyme. Clear, students? Like in your class, you are 50 students and out of which 5 are very good in studies and 45 are not good in studies. So these 5 are remains always constant, that we are strong, we can do anything, we will not change ourselves, so they are always dominant. But rest of the 45 get modified. Why they get modified? Because they are unable to understand what the teacher is saying. So they always move where the weight is high. Means in Hindi you can say बारिश जहाँ पे छतरी वहाँ पे. Same is happen here in case of these two alleles. Means in a heterozygous character or heterozygous trait, one allele is unmodified, unmodified is dominant. Clear? Unmodified is dominant and modified is recessive. Why modified is recessive? Because of these three reasons. Either it produce less or normal enzyme. Second reason, it may produce non-functional enzyme. Third reason, it may produce no enzyme or less enzyme, due to which it can't express itself when it is present with a dominant or unmodified allele. So this is the rule for any trait or any allele should be dominant. I think you have cleared your concept. For today, this is all about your topic. In the next class, we will study about law of codominance.